September the 30th, 1942. 5 transport wagons are on their way to Auschwitz with more than 800 Jews, most of them from Holland. On the same day, an express train travels from Germany to Switzerland. Its passengers are also Jews, 12 men, women and children. Their gate to freedom, the Badische railway station in Baal.
Wir kamen im Morgengrauen auf dem Badischen Bahnhof an.
We arrived at the Badische station at dawn, and I can still see the people from our group tearing their Stars of David from their sleeves, not caring at all if their coats were torn. They tore them off with incredible fury and trampled on them. I'll never forget that either.
These people's saviour is one of Hitler's henchmen, yet hundreds owe their lives to this man. Wilhelm Canaris, head of Hitler's secret service. Meanwhile, in the east, German soldiers are fighting behind enemy lines on Canaris's orders. Their mission, espionage, sabotage, and undermining enemy morale with a whispering campaign. A dirty war with heavy losses.
Agents who work behind enemy lines, only 5 to 10% of them really stuck with us.
Being a soldier under Hitler. For some, a battle between obedience and conscience. Suppression and protest. Hitler's henchman and his adversary, saving some lives, yet guilty of the deaths of others. How could both be true? Wilhelm Canaris never found the answer.
It's an insoluble question. I mean, it's the subject of Sophocles' Antigone. It's been with us forever, and the individual has to judge.
Summer of 1935. It was a time of illusion for many. They had no idea what was in store for them in the coming years. In 1935, Canaris became the chief spy. His secret service, the Abwehr, were part of the Wehrmacht. The army was still small, but had long been in step with the new state. Wehrmacht Day. Canaris was there too, but not filmed. Secret Service heads are camera shy.
When I met him, he was a kind old gentleman of over 50, who was very proud of being in the Navy and who was a very good German. Admiral Canaris was a very kind, quiet, gentle person, I thought.
He was small, looked at you with innocent round eyes, and he enjoyed catching people out.
After the war, Canaris became a mythical figure, the prototype of the good person in the shadow of a dictatorship. The truth is more complex. Canaris started off as an admirer of Hitler. He once wrote, "The German army must be a model for the pure realization of the Führer idea." Canaris was no Nazi, but he regarded Hitler as the best possible head of state.
He was a committed patriot who felt that the treatment of Germany in the 20s, the Versailles Diktat and so on, was dreadful, as did many Democrats. When Hitler brushed that aside, Canaris first thought it right and proper, and he saw the horror later. Others saw Hitler's hand as the devil's early on, and saw things differently.
Canaris didn't want to recognize the devil, nor did it bother him that Himmler's SS wanted to be involved in espionage itself. Canaris told someone who warned him, "I can deal with those boys." The Abwehr, his intelligence service, soon made a name for itself. Espionage expanded. There were more and more agents with increasingly better equipment. The enemy was impressed.
Canaris was a very respected professional, and they did some very good work. We like to think we did just as good work.
The new master spy was not unknown to Hitler. A visit to the fleet in Kiel in 1933 enabled them to get to know and think highly of one another. Canaris was still captain of the battleship Schlesien. Hitler remembered his name. Someone like that could be useful, especially if, like Canaris, he already had quite a record. He was a highly decorated U-boat captain in the First World War. A naval warrior who'd also gained experience as a secret agent in neutral Spain. He escaped from captivity twice. Once over the high passes of the Andes, from Chile to Argentina. And an escape from an Italian prison, allegedly in a priest's soutane. It was said he flirted with Mata Hari, the Kaiser's spy, a rumour he was happy to allow to spread. There's evidence of his involvement in Rosa Luxemburg's murder. Canaris served in the same unit as the perpetrator. He was one of the military judges and ensured that the murderer got off lightly a 2-year sentence. Soon after, an officer with a fake uniform and forged papers got the murderer out of jail. The person who set it up was Canaris. For him, murdering communists wasn't a crime. His superiors praised his particularly accurate assessment of political situations. An expert like him did well in the Nazi Reich.
Hitler felt he was an incomparable head of espionage, with whom no one else could compete.
The first test for this supposedly incomparable man, the Spanish Civil War, 1936. Once again, the communists were the enemy. The hope of the right was Franco. Canaris knew him well, but Franco and his troops were stuck in Morocco and needed planes from Hitler. Hitler was in Beirut, listening to Wagner at the time, and hesitated, fearing an unpredictable adventure. Canaris helped to calm his fears after the Valkyrie. German planes brought Franco's troops to their homeland, turning the tide in the Civil War. Franco and Canaris were now good friends. For his retirement, the German's greatest wish was a villa in Spain. On his desk in Berlin was a portrait of Franco, but not of Hitler. Otherwise, there were mainly books, history, religion, and philosophy, and the three monkeys, the inevitable symbolic figures of his work.
One monkey has his hands over his ears, the first one holds his mouth shut, and the third one covers his eyes. I know nothing, I say nothing, and I hear nothing. It was a warning. Be careful what you say.